Hello there, my very good friends, and a happy Rusev Day to you all, I guess, because it's official. Rusev is back in WWE.
Did WWE already scrap a Ray Fenix feud?
Where the hell is Nia Jax?
And Jay White is injured and out of the Owen Hart tournament.
What's going on? Injuries, returns, scrap plans?
It's all kicking off.
It's all kicking off. I'm Andy.
I'm Michael.
And this is the news. Right. We're starting this one off by talking about the big man, the Redeemer, the Bulgarian brute, the former Miro, Rusev. He's back. He's re-signed with WWE. Shock and awe. Nobody saw this coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was reported officially by PW Insider yesterday. Mike Johnson, presumably Drew McIntyre, saw Miro on his way into the building. But yes, Miro is back in WWE.
Through his one good eye, because that's definitely a shoot.
yeah. The patch is a shoot, brother. Yeah. He was at WWE HQ in Stamford, Connecticut all day, re-signing. Multiple sources spotted him there. He is re-signed with Titan Sports, brother.
Capital got them, man.
There you go. WWF. I've ran out of names. The Fed. Now, apparently, Rusev, he's definitely re-signed. It's all done. And he was at HQ to set the stage for his return. So maybe they were going over some plan skis for the big man. Lana, CJ Perry, not there yesterday. So there's no word. I have no idea if they'll bring her back or what. I mean, we should at least hear the goated theme song at least once. The
Imagine Def Rebel ruining that.
Lana. Actually, that's a suitable variation of the original. But with a trumpet instead of the
Lana.
It's the ravishing Russian Lana. CJ Perry.
You are under siege.
Now this Steven Seagal. There's no word on when Rusev will be back on camera, but he has re-signed. He's there. It's done. It's a done deal. Everybody saw this coming. It follows Ricky Saints. Sorry, not Starks.
Yeah.
A guy we're about to talk about in Ray Fenix. Penta. Who else? Aleister Black. He's going back. I think I saw a stat last night.
Andrade, of course.
Andrade last year. Lots of guys have gone back. Andrade's already stirring up on social media because, Michael Sidgwick had a very good tweet about some of these guys last night that I thought was quite funny. I like them all, though. Yeah, Miro, Rusev, talk.
You're right. It's not a surprise. It feels like mentally the vibes he's been throwing out since his AEW contract ended, and in some cases while it was still ongoing, was like that Andy Bernard Stamford, Connecticut chant when he thinks that they're taking over Scranton in the office.
Our fearless leader, Josh.
Yeah. I think there's lots to be excited about fundamentally here. Like, Rusev was, I believe, misused when Rusev Day was at the height of its popularity, and infamously, I suppose, Vince McMahon thought it was more a joke and the fans were laughing at him, and there was clearly something like a kind of a yes movement adjacent thing happening there that WWE did not capitalise on.
Kind of like a Zack Ryder type thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's worth considering, whilst this is not an exact science and the game Triple H has failed plenty of his former prospects, think of the NXT success stories that ultimately were let down by the main roster, and think about how they became success stories in the first place, right? That was under Triple H's first go at being a booker. So many ultimately died on the vine when they had that awkward transition. Rusev had a good first year, but once he was beaten, it was a pretty slippery slope from, it doesn't guarantee success. There have been people that we assumed would have been bankers under Triple H that have ultimately not turned out. It is a competitive environment within WWE because I think people have seen just how lucrative the top spots can be. And Rusev comes in at a time where obviously business is booming, but that's not to say creative is necessarily as hot as it was 12 months ago. We're going to talk in a second, indeed, about Andrade and some sort of things that are kind of like little bits of water that are getting in through the cracks in WWE creatively. So. Yeah. Rusev is not finding himself necessarily with his guaranteed route straight back to the top, but he does come in with this revived and refreshed sense of energy from how his AEW run when it was at its peak, when like the Redeemer left something, I think, within the hearts and souls of all of us, and it kind of like married up with our expectations of Rusev that were never hit. Yeah. There is definitely a chance that he could become like a world title guy. You absolutely have to go sky's the limit with him until kind of proven otherwise.
Until everyone falls out with each other or whatever happens.
Maybe, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
happens.
Like for right now, if you're like shoot for the moon with him.
Yeah, definitely. I don't buy the idea. I think it's a total false narrative rewritten by hardcore AEW fans. And look, I am an AEW fan, but like I try not to let it colour my perception of things. I think it's a total false narrative that AEW did all they could with Rusev, with Miro. Like as the Redeemer, like it's a booker's dream of a character. It's a monster who's credible, believable, scary, can beat anyone, but also he has a weak point in a sore neck. So you can beat him really believably, and he loses zero credibility because you've established that he has a weak point that babyfaces can target. You can book that kind of character forever.
His neck is too weak to squat with God.
There you go, baby. Like, you can book that character forever and ever and ever. There is no limit to what you can do with that. It's not like a regular ass monster with no weaknesses who once they lose, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Like his second year in WWE after he finally got beat.
Yeah.
You've established that he's got a weak point. And then if you want to level him up at some point, you can go, but he's figured out ways to counter people attacking his neck. He's got counters to all these moves and
protects it at all.
and stuff like that. So like, I thought there's a lot left on the table with Miro. But then it's like, we've no idea why it fizzled out, really, right? Did he not want to do more? Did AEW just not want to do more with him? Who knows? The backstage situation is quite cloudy. But I mean, I love this dude. I'm glad he's back. I wonder, I'm really curious to see the direction they take, if it's more of the Rusev Day, babyface, crowd interaction stuff. I mean, that's so over in defense. Look at Jey Uso with the Yeet. Rusev Day in 2025 could be insane. Or will they go down the more serious God's Champion Redeemer route, which was, for me, the best character work of his career? We'll find out. We'll see how it goes. But either way, happy to see him back. Not surprised, but good for him. Glad he's going to be on my screen.
Yeah, and it does link us to our second story today, because we mentioned...
Before that...
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll do it now.
Yes, I want to drop.
This is
once a month. I don't try to overload you guys with this, because I know times are tough, but my silly ass is running a half marathon this September. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this in my entire life physically.
Kick ass.
I mean, I'm in this about the same shape as the Marshmallow Man at the moment, but we're getting there. We are getting there. So, like, for those of you who have been watching for a while, you probably know I took some time off last year, like about 3 months, because my father passed away, suffered a heart attack, and this year I want to turn it into something positive, and I want to raise some funds for the British Heart Foundation here in the UK to help people who are in his situation and fund the incredible research they do to save lives and improve quality of life. So if you've got anything to spare at all, I would be very much appreciative. The link is down below. It's justgiving.com/pages/Andy H. Murray. But yeah, it's down there below. It's also on my Twitter if you want to connect it there. Look, if you can even spare 1 cent, I'd really appreciate it. Seeing these little notifications of little bits coming through as well actually keeps me going in this, because this has been really taxing on me physically. But yeah, anything you can, as we try to turn this huge negative into a positive, anything you can spare, I'll love you forever.
And look, don't worry about the Marshmallow Man thing. Once during a half marathon, I got passed by 3 Ghostbusters. And they were all in full proton
They were going
packs.
to kick the Marshmallow Man's ass.
They were chasing him, so that must have meant he was even further in front.
Suck him up with that laser they've got.
And a banana, same race. It's a hell of a time.
You're having a giraffe,
Yeah,
mate.
it's going to be awesome. Sponsor Andy Murray. I heartily endorse this message. It's a great and amazing cause.
Thank you.
Andrade is one of the names that obviously...
The Dradder.
The Dradder himself, like Miro and like Malachi Black, who will be coming back as Aleister Black soon enough, was not without a bit of controversy around what was going on backstage in AEW. As you pointed out, we never know, but there was lots of whispers and stories about...
Getting into fights with Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, there was like a little creative kind of like confusion and maybe like miscommunication and whatnot, and that seemed to be driving a lot of what resulted in several of these names returning to WWE. Well, apparently some of that has followed him around, and in this case it has also sort of affected potentially the arrival of Rey Fenix. WWE are advertising him to debut this Friday, like in the Allstate Arena of Chicago. That's going to be amazing, one would think. But there may have been some creative with Andrade that, for now, at least, has potentially gone on pause. This is per the WrestleVotes Backstage Pass podcast. Kind of well-informed scoops to WrestleVotes. And they said, quote, "Don't know for sure, but I can go back to SmackDown 3 weeks ago from Italy. Written in the show before Liv Morgan versus Jade Cargill's match, there was a backstage segment with the SmackDown GM, can't remember his name, telling Andrade that there were new talent coming to SmackDown. We'd seen the video package at this point, I think, where you could tell it was Fenix, but he was like a silhouette at this point. That segment got cut. It was not supposed to be on last week's show, so I don't know where it stands. However, that would indicate to me that they had plans, at a minimum, for Andrade versus Rey Fenix. We'll see if that happens. So, yeah, it was Andrade looking for competition, and, you know, the idea that, like, SmackDown were going to be bringing in new talent. We've also seen the vignette for Aleister Black, which has been like set to the date, at least if you slow it down, and he loves all that sort of stuff. The date is set to the SmackDown straight after WrestleMania. So they're not trying to hide these things. And then last week, they just outright put Rey Fenix's name on screen. But then since then, Andrade has been separated slightly from that, and it appears that he's going to be taking this like talent whisperer / caution role, or he's like, who knows, maybe not, maybe they can just scrap that as well. A lot of scrapping's going on SmackDown at the moment. Often those scraps become matches, which end in disqualifications. Thanks so much, Road Dog. But
wins and losses don't matter.
That's what he always told us.
That's what he says.
Yeah, Fenix set to debut, but for now at least not against Andrade. As of right now, as we're recording this, it's only just to debut. We don't know if that's an action. We don't know if that's as a maybe interrupts meals or something. But Fenix is in the building, but not Andrade.
They could just one night it on Friday, couldn't
they? Could, yeah.
They could just have Andrade go, "Chief, why are you not putting me in matches?" And then he goes, "Okay, Chief. Here you go, Chief. Here's another Chief."
Have a wrestler.
Chiefs everywhere.
There's loads of Chiefs.
Have a wrestling match.
They have, you know, on commentary, when the Rey Fenix name flashed up last week, they have been totally open about the fact that he's Penta's brother, about it's going to be great to see both Lucha Brothers in WWE. They're going to be on separate brands. So Rey Fenix as a single star in the short term feels like the plan. So Andrade could still be on the table. You know, maybe they've got something in mind for Fenix as a WrestleMania match. You know, he's going to be a spectacular addition to the roster. So I would say none of this is gone. It's just weird that it was there and scrubbed.
Yeah. It's I mean, we're like, it's a really good match. So I think if they do pivot or go back to it or whatever, I think it would be really good. Obviously, I've been calling for Andrade to be in the ring more. I think when you got a 3-hour show, it's a bit confusing that you're not using the high level workers a bit more often. He's on, you know, he's a social media teaser. You never know what's truly going on, but I would like more from to see Andrade more often. Fenix is obviously very good. Fenix is an interesting prospect because he's a better wrestler than his brother, in my opinion. Not as outwardly charismatic. Like Penta has a presence to him. He's got a really cool vibe, and that's primarily why he gets over Zero Miedo, all that stuff. He's a badass looking dude, and he carries himself that way. Phoenix is a better wrestler, I think. He's a bit cleaner, a bit more spectacular. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, because Penta is super over. Phoenix, if he gets over, and I think he will, it'll probably be on the strength of his wrestling, which is really cool. Whereas Penta has 70 different fireworks and, you know, the cool gimmick and all this stuff. Not to say Penta's a bad wrestler, by the way, don't misconstrue me. But, you know, Fenix is one of the best high flyers in the world. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out. It's obviously happening. I think the new mask looked interesting, what we've seen of it, with some like strands and stuff.
They'll market the hell out of it. You'll be able to buy them over WrestleMania weekend, the whole deal. They'll nail that side of it. I love this, you know, like Lucha Brothers feels inevitable down the line, but it was something I always desperately wanted in AEW, because the flashes were always intoxicating of the two singles pushes. Phoenix, like, you know, kind of had that like sort of semi-classic TV match against Kenny Omega mid-pandemic. Penta before kind of Cody sort of killed his finish forever. Like, always for me felt like there was still a bit of unfinished business with him as a singles wrestler. If you remember the build into the original All In, Kenny and Penta, was this something you almost couldn't believe was happening, you know? And it was never really explored. The Lucha Brothers were kind of too valuable as a duo to get those singles runs. As I say, we'll get there, but I quite like that we're starting the singles route. They're almost so close, but not yet. Like, maybe the first time you see them physically on screen together is like a little backstage moment at Mania or something. Where they, you know, like when Sammy and Kevin did it before their matches last year. Do that with the Lucha Brothers. So a lot of excitement to come. I'd like to think they'll get the best out of Rey Fenix, at least in the short term.
We'll find out tomorrow night. Back on US time zones this Friday.
Hell of a run.
Yeah, it was nice having the times. Like, for us, the shows maybe not the best.
Punker has confirmed WrestleMania main event walking out in Chicago tomorrow night.
No.
That's going to be a first, isn't
Oh,
it?
gosh.
Yeah.
It's not a real... I won't. It's not a real WrestleMania.
Let's kick that hornet's nest.
But Nia Jax, where's she? Where's Nia Jax? She's not wrestled since the 1st of March. That was the tag team match, her and Candice versus Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton at Elimination Chamber. Where's she been? What's going on? She's not cleared. WrestleVotes had a report on Backstage Pass. They don't know why, but she's on the inactive list for WWE at the moment. She's not been cleared for action, and that's why she's not been on television. It was anticipated that she was going to be back in WWE a few weeks ago, but they don't know why, and they didn't speculate or anything like that. So, mysterious absence for Nia Jax. Obviously, her big thing has been the Tiffany Stratton storyline, which went on for about 10 years until they finally did the title switch with the cash in and all that stuff. Tried to get the title back, didn't work. She's been aligned with Candice. They had that tag match. You'd imagine when she comes back, she'll move on to something new because that's a pretty definitive set of losses to Tiffany Stratton, who is now busy getting bodied by Charlotte Flair on the microphone every week. But yeah, there you go. That's the latest on Nia Jax. I think she's been pretty good since she returned. She still has a turkey in her. I think so. But, you know, I always go back to the Becky Lynch match day 1, 2024 on Raw. Really just well structured, really well worked, and she's exceeded my expectations since she came back. And I actually miss her not being on TV.
Me too. There was a weird disconnect between the quality of PLE matches and TV ones. Like there was this sort of bizarre brilliance to the sort of self-contained nature of the TV matches, and then when you got into the she wins the title, and there was like an absolute stinkosaurus against Bayley. Bad Blood was it?
Stinkosaurus mess.
Yeah, no, like there's if you look at your science textbooks, you'll find like Stinkosaurus X billion years ago, Turkerino 2025. It's the evolution of animals.
And then Turquinho.
Turquinho is like well into the future.
He's like a little one.
That's in space. That's got a little space. It's just floating. No gravity.
Stinkosaurus Rex loves a breakfast. Loves a breakfast. Made of lentils.
Crazy. 100% lentils. You wouldn't believe it. Like you want to see the fossils on that guy.
He loves a skeleton too, the Stinkosaurus Rex.
What are we talking about? Oh, Nia Jax. Yeah. It's all relative. I will say, right, I never, and we're going to get onto this in a second, it's obviously awful when wrestlers get injured, and you that shouldn't need to be a caveat, but it probably still should be, before I'm what I'm about to say. There is not enough space made for wrestlers to take natural breaks. We often talked about how, especially in the era of the churn, the 52 weeks a year wrestling show, if there was a safe space for wrestlers to be cycled in and cycled out without the fear of losing their spot, without the fear of their aura being diminished, all of that, that would be better for everyone. We'd never get bored of wrestlers. There'd be this understanding that, you know what, we've been kind of heavy on that guy for ages, so they're going to disappear for a bit. She's been really, really profiled. Let's just phase her back. But it's never like that. It's always the idea that if you're not around, if you're not present, if you're not featuring, you're dead. You're nothing. Injuries as a result are awful for the performers, and it must be so difficult to physically rehabilitate. But I actually think, if they trust the process, they'll see the pops return when they come back. They'll see the audience has missed them. We're talking about it now. Nia Jax has been a missed presence in these 3-hour SmackDowns. If and when she returns and when she's cleared and all that sort of stuff, what if they want to bring her in as this sort of babyface version of the monster who's trying to scare Chelsea Green and she nees to throw the secret herbs? That's off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But Nia Jax has proven, especially in the second run, oddly quite versatile. Good sense of timing with the humour and the stuff she does backstage. The matches can be there. Again, like Stinkosaurus, Turquinos notwithstanding.
Turquito.
Turquito.
A taco. I like tacos.
El Turquito.
Turkey taco.
Why
not? Why not?
Where can we get? Let us know in the comments. Turkey tacos from Las Vegas, Nevada, where we're going to be doing our live show on April the 18th. It's the biggest and best SmackDown watch along in all of Sin City on a, check this out, 50-foot high screen. That's not even WWE numbers. That's not 20-foot high Hell in a Cell. I checked on the website. The 50-foot screen at the HyperX Arena, screening SmackDown. We're going to be doing our live show before that. Simon Miller's going to be doing ups and downs afterwards. We're going to be doing a WrestleMania podcast. You can eat and drink in there. Doors are at 4. We'll be open till late because what happens at WhatCulture Live stays at WhatCulture Live, and anything's possible in the pyramid.
Yeah, including me falling asleep at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So look forward to that too.
Let's sleep in Murray lie. The man is in training. God damn it.
This man is, I need my bed.
It's going to be goated, man. What isn't, unfortunately, is Jay White 2025 potentially, or at least in the short term, because he is out of the Owen Hart Invitational. If you didn't see Dynamite last night, you may not have been aware that one of the names who'd already kind of confirmed Jay White is no longer in the brackets. They revealed the lineup. I think it had been Will Ospreay and Hangman Page had already kind of named themselves for it. Switchblade was included. However, they informed us that he was beaten up by the Death Riders and taken out of action. The work is unfortunately a shoot, not the beating, but the injury. Fightful Select came through, noting that he'd sustained a legitimate injury ahead of last night's Dynamite, but obviously the storyline reason was created to explain it away, presuming that obviously when he can come back, he's got somebody to take revenge on. Jay White is expected to undergo surgery. They've not been able to, Fightful this is, confirm what the injury is, but it has caused some significant creative changes as a result of his removal from the tournament. There was a lot of thoughts that maybe they would run Jay White versus Will Ospreay in the opening round. That's obviously not going to happen now. We've got what had been a babyface turn for Jay White that was going okay, but it felt like they were teasing the return to the heel side at Revolution when he struck on purpose or by accident, cope, that kind of stuff. So it did feel like there was a lot of character stuff coming Jay White's way as pertains to the Death Riders. For now, at least, that is on ice. Get well soon, Jay White.
Yeah, that whole group, the Guns, him and Juice, they've had a lot of just rotten luck with injuries over the course of their AEW run. So it's a stinky situation for Jay White. Get well soon. Hope he heals up. Hope it's not too serious. Although surgery is tricky. It's tricky. I mean, I think it's a good chance for Kevin Knight to come into the tournament and do some cool things. Maybe turn a few heads. He's been pretty cool since coming in. He, of course, faced Jay White last week on Collision and had a tag team match with Will Ospreay against Lee Johnson and Vanilla Baby, Blake Christian.
Ospreay couldn't do more, could he, to establish Knight as this guy that, oh my god, what am I going to do when I wrestle him?
The tandem dives and all this stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool. So, not much more to add than that. Get well soon, Jay White. It's a shame. I think heel turn would have served him well. I think he's better in that role. Get well soon, Jay White. Hope it's not too brutal. But thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, check out the 100 greatest WWE WrestleMania moments. 100 of them, man. That is 2 hours and 19 minutes, this video.
I don't know who ranked them. 100 number ones. Can you believe it?
Longer than a movie.
It is cinema.
Yeah. Bye.